Hi! Welcome to this part of my review featuring Unknown Armies, Book 1, Play. If you haven't seen part 1 of my review, featuring this RPG, where the player characters fight the status quo and reach their objectives through occult means, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to talk about the world of Unknown Armies. On the surface, the Unknown Armies world looks like modern-day reality. It is a world where physical laws are studied and trusted, where exceptions to cause and effect simply are not accepted. It's a rational, steady, objective world where coincidences are just things that happen at the same time, not events influenced by secret skeins of meaning. It is a matter of great cultural confidence that there is no such thing as magic. But you not only believe in magic, you use it. That is, your player character had personal experiences with powers that chortle at everyday logic while murmuring, "How quaint." People think the world is consistent and rigid, but you know it is pliable and tattered and full of holes. Sometimes you can slip into a hole and come out the other side somewhere wonderful. Sometimes you step into a hole in the dark and it snaps your ankle like a chopstick. The world can change, you just have to know the truth, even a little bit of it. There are all sorts of cults, religions and sects out there. There are also occultists, sorcerers, people who would refer to themselves as magicians or mystics. In this role-playing game, they are categorized. There are chargers. These are the people in charge. And it's no accident charges are the current and currency of magic. A charger is someone who has proven power to kick something that's usually immune to human tampering, whether that's a law of thermodynamics or the inchoate longings buried deep in the human heart. Then you have checkers. These are people who aren't as weird, feared, and revered as chargers. But that doesn't mean they necessarily put up with any bullshit. They are experiencers, people who saw something otherworldly and responded by paying attention and moving closer. That alone puts them way above the people who ignore the strangeness and instinctively withdraw from it. Checkers may know a trick or two. Then you have ponies. This is the current occult term of contempt. A pony is someone whose feelings can be trampled without repercussion, whose money can be borrowed and not repaid, whose lover can be propositioned without fear of meaningful reprisal. They are vehicles, stooges, and patsies. Let's talk about the secret masters of the universe. Invisible, disembodied things watch this world and influence its trends and progress at the highest levels. Their power is undetectable, almost. It's so thoroughly baked into the nature of reality that it looks like physics or mass psychology or good old coincidence. They are called the invisible clergy, and even a tinfoil hat won't protect you. They are already in you, and you in them. Individuals within the invisible clergy are called archetypes, and they aren't human. They used to be, but they fulfilled some broad, necessary social role so perfectly that they were plucked out of the coarse, gross realm of matter and taken up to a place where probability becomes manifest. The very few people who've made the trip back call this higher realm the stratosphere. They are in pretty rough shape, though. The way it seems to work is, if you embody something that enough people recognize as a social role, such as the mother, the hunter, the true king, you ascend from mortality into existence as an undying, archetypal representative of that principle. But if someone else comes along and does a better job at it, the sitting archetype gets ousted and returns to being a mere human. There's only so much room at the top. The invisible clergy is a bickering senate of the ideas we all voted for, whether we meant to or not. Let's talk about avatars. If archetypes are the distant, unavailable political insiders in this mythology, they have their word healing activists in avatars. Or if you don't like that metaphor, avatars are the rabid fans to the archetypes rock stars. They are the sniping, enabling, middle school wannabes to the archetype's popular girl queen bees. One becomes an avatar through imitation. The bridge goes both ways too. The more an avatar resembles the archetype, the more the archetype is able to bend reality and make things go right for his mortal do-boy. Usually this takes subtle forms, psychological effects, intuitions, or coincidences that only help. But some more powerful and determined avatars can straight up fly, survive decapitation, or order car crashes to go to their room and think about what they did. Big, showy stuff like that is usually the prerogative of godwalkers. Every archetype's best and most dedicated follower gets special treatment, serving as the archetype's bodyguard, fist, and envoy in the material world. But godwalkers are double-edged. Because they are so close, they are the most likely to replace their patrons. Then we have adepts. If avatars are the folks skipping to the front of the line because they are dressed right, adepts are the guys getting thrown out the back, screaming about how they'll start their own goddamn nightclub. Every adept is obsessed with something important that most people take for granted, and every adept insists that everyone but them has it wrong. They are crazy, or at least weird as balls. But what sets adepts apart from the far more common lunatics and strangelings of the world is that when an adept screams, "Not your way, my way," at the normally uncaring sky, sometimes the sky backs down. Adepts have magic, and they can do stuff. To be an avatar is to slavishly obey what society thinks your role ought to be, while the road of the adept is paved with stubborn pathological self-will. In both cases, the balance between being social and being an individual is skewed. The idea that the way to create occult effects depends not on painting pentagrams in your basement and chanting in dead languages, but rather acting more like everybody than anybody, or being a social outlier of epic proportions, that can be a tough sell to people who read their Lesser Key of Solomon, or put up with a bunch of robe and candle initiations. Now, if you don't want to be an avatar, or an adept, or spend literally years coughing over moldy old paper to get one or two functioning rituals, your option is what practitioners call reality bruising, and everyone else calls gutter magic. It's nowhere near as strong or quick as the stuff adepts routinely dish out, and it's not as reliable and simple as the avatar's tricks, but though it's complicated and slow and effortful to cast, gutter magic is real. It changes things. Part of gutter magic working is that you have to want it really badly, but that's not a problem for characters in unknown armies. Another part is constructing layers of symbolic meaning. Paralleling this with that, meta-fear and meta-friend. When done right, it makes things more likely or less. Adepts and avatars can use gutter magic, but 99% of the time, they don't want to. They have much better use in the bottle. In addition to the human stuff on the fringes, there's magic places and things and objects in play that were never human, but possibly want to be. Checkers try to figure out these mysteries. Chargers try to control them. Ponies die to show how the monster works. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part, we are going to take a look at the rules. I really like how they weave the whole secret society, fraternity, Golden Dawn, Freemasonry sort of vibe, with a bit of the dogmas of Madame Blavatsky, to create a world as setting with an entire invisible side to it. The player characters are moving in this world. They have to interact with the ones that are pulling the strings, that are moving the pieces, but also with people that are completely ignorant to what is actually going on behind the veil of mundane reality. Thank you for watching this part of the review. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that have been supporting the channel by sending right through RPG gift certificates. If anyone else wants to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. Once again, thank you, and see you later.